Hey guys, this is Random Call Sign. Welcome to a new video, and hopefully it's the start of a new series in a channel where I check out what sim rigs you are using. A couple of weeks ago I asked you to send me your sim rigs so we could check them out on this video, and if this video is successful we could do this, either teamed or every so often. If you want to participate, just go to Discord. There's a channel called Your Rigs. Just leave a couple of pictures there with the description of what you're using, and that's basically it. I'll choose some of them that I find interesting or they're relevant for the theme of that video. The first rig we're gonna check out is from my teammate Crowd's Garage. He sent me this picture, so we can see here he's done a 80-20. I know that his rig is basically a 80-20 self-made rig where he added a car seat from a car part dealer or whatever. He mounted a G29. I know he has just upgraded to the Fanatec CSL. He has a CSL load cell Elite at the bottom for his pedals. Triple screen setup with a screen on top. I know he sold the triple screen setup. Now he's just running one screen in the middle, and he's been complaining a lot about it lately. And basically he is also a musician. As you can see, he has a bass on his right side. So this is a very simple homemade, somewhat homemade setup that you can get for about 200-300 just in terms of parts for building the sim rig on the 80-20 profile. You can basically do whatever you want with them. It's just pick up the parts and assemble it yourself. The G29 wheel is a very competent wheel. You really don't need much more than that. Of course, if you want to change your wheel to have different rims, that's fine. But you really don't need more than a joint 29 to be successful in sim racing. So this first setup we've got here, it's a very simple setup. It works quite well, and I know he's pretty fast with it. This next setup could be basically part of some video on YouTube and other tech channels about the most clean or minimalistic setup ever, and this setup you're seeing right now is from Think Cars. So as you can see, it's just such a pretty setup, so simple. Is running what I believe it is a GT Omega Apex or something about that on a G920, so it's basically the counterpart of the G29. It's the Xbox version. It doesn't have the rotors, but it's essentially it is the same wheel and delivers the same performance. He has also the G29 shifter, and just in front of him there's a somewhat sizable TV. I think it's a 43 or 46 inch. It's not much bigger than that, and it just gives you that field of view that you need for sim racing, and it seems from the comfort of his living room. And if you want to store it away, the GT Omega or thereabouts, this wheel stand can just be stored away on the side, so we can keep this area as clean and as aesthetic as possible. I really like this setup and how clean it is, and I wish I could do the same on the background. As you can see, it's not very clean compared to this, so I'm gonna take some tips for my future setup area. Next setup is from Thor at Enigma Racing. Now it's the more complicated, or it starts one of the more complicated setups on this video. So we have a Fanatec DD wheel. I'm not sure if it's a DD1 or a DD2, with a McLaren GT3 wheel, which is now some sort of unicorn. It's a nice wheel, but there's some issues in terms of reliability, and now it's basically out of the market, and it's mounted on a 80-20 profile sim rig with a very nice bucket seat. There were no description of the setup in terms of what the rig exactly is and what are the components to the computer or peripherals, but we can see that he's using a Fanatec CSL load cell wheel, load cell pedals. Then you can see in the middle that he's using VR, or uses VR sometimes maybe, which seems to be a Pimax 5K. I think. I'm not very versed in VR. He has a support screen in the bottom. He has a sideways screen, which I think is just stored the Dell one, which is also at the bottom. Then on the top, he has this huge screen, which I think it's about a 65-incher, something like that. And I think this is a very interesting setup for a made 80-20. I think it's a made 80-20. And you also see at the bottom, just below the McLaren GT3 wheel, there's a place to hook up your headphones. So a lot of things are set up correctly, or set up not correctly, set up for the driver and what he needs in terms of peripherals, such as the mouse and the keyboard. So yeah, as you can see, the 80/20 gives you a lot of flexibility for what you really need. I really like this setup. But the next one is even more interesting. This next setup is a beautiful aesthetic setup from Phantom Neo. It's dubbed the Roxanne. I suppose you'll give it a woman's name because it's something really beautiful in my opinion. As you can see, it's just so aesthetic in terms of lights choices and in terms of component choices. It's very well modeled to the driver, or personally to his personality, or to his driving style, or to his driving position. He has this huge real estate on screens, a triple screen setup with massive screens over there, so it basically envelops all his peripheral vision up to the front. Then just below he has a Fanatec wheel, one of those Fanatec special Formula 1 wheels with the extra rotary buttons and whatnot. And on the side, a couple of button boxes from a company that I forgot the name. They do it for the T300RS as well. So we have a lot of real estate with the extra buttons you get, so you can change traction control setups and whatnot. Then you have also this Sparkle bucket seat. It's such a beautiful bucket seat, and you can see a familiar logo over there. It's Gamer Muscle. Maybe one day he'll send me his setup to check it out. It's mounted on a 80/20 rig. I think it's a P1. As you can see on the side, a couple of Fanatec components with the handbrake and the shifter as well. So everything is perfectly laid out for what his needs are, and I can even not fault the cable management he has done on the rig. You can barely see a couple of cables over there. You have a cable connecting to the wall socket, and you can see just a few cables bunched up at the bottom, but it's just so clean and so aesthetic. So if you think the first couple ones from Think Cars, it was already aesthetic, but it was simplistic. This one is more built, but it still keeps simple, and it keeps really cozy and tidy. I really like this one. Our next setup is from Gen Eris. Once again, it's on a 80/20 profile. I'm not too sure which 80/20 profile it was chosen because it wasn't told, but another well clean and cozy sim rig where you just want to stay there. So you have a massive widescreen. It seems to be a 49 maybe, with a small support screen at the top. That's supposed to give you know essential information like lap times, position, whatnot. Connected to the sim rig, you see a Fanatec CSW with another McLaren GT3 wheel, another unicorn. These things are now selling for 300 to 400 euros on the second-hand market. A SimLab bucket seat that seems really cozy, so it must be a SimLab profile rig. Amazing 80/20 profile rigs, and a Fanatec CSL load cell pedal set. Amazing pedal set, like I've stated. Just besides him, you has is an SXT case, so you can see the components. It seems to be water cooled on a custom loop of sorts, so you can really see that the driver, the user, is on his geek area, or the other he can maybe relax, or it's just the hobby and he likes looking at this kind of stuff. I love to watch open cases like that. I've just built my one, which one day I'll show it on the channel, and I'll put my own setup in here. But as you can see, it's a beautiful cozy setup with all the color choices and whatnot. I really like this one as well. The next setup I'm going to show you, it's from one of our oldest supporters of the channel, which it will be a Chilidog. So he has posted this picture where he shows his T300RS with the Fanatec V3 pedal set, a wonderful set of pedals as well, a massive 49-inch super ultra wide 144 Hz screen. So wonderful screen over there. I'm usually jealous of that. Mounted on a desk, which he dubs the shitty desk. It's fine by me, it doesn't really matter. So he has, as well of importance, at least for him, a vape, some Legos, a Swiss Army knife, and a tumbler of Cabernet Sauvignon. Myself, being Portuguese, I'm more of a Toriga Nacional or Aragonês, but I'm okay with Cabernet Sauvignon. It's fine, it's wine, it's drinkable, and it just shows you really don't need a sim rig to enjoy sim racing. You just need somewhere to put your wheel. That's basically it. Continuing the trend that you really don't need a lot for sim racing, Napier Deluxe sends us a couple of pictures where he shows exactly that. So this is his sim racing setup. I know a lot of people will probably scorn of him, but you really shouldn't, because sim racing is open for everyone. Not everybody has the possibility to get even the most basic of wheels, and that's fine. As long as you have fun, it's sim racing. It doesn't really matter. So what has he brought? He brought basically what I consider is a Gator rig in a really good way. So he has a Manta 180 wheel. Doesn't even have force feedback. Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter at all. So he wanted to sit in somewhere that was basically stable and comfortable. And what did he get? A Smart 4.2 for his chair. So he went to a car breaking place and bought basically a Smart 4.2 chair, or just got it from a car, whatever. Doesn't really matter. It works. If it works, it's not stupid, and if it works, it's suitable. So, but for me, the pièce of resistance of all of this stuff, it's not the desk, it's not the screen being like too far away. You really should bring your screen closer to you when you're sim racing. Is the fact that he has made a handbrake from a Volkswagen Polo. So this is kind of stuff that I love to see in sim racing, where people are picking up what they know about electronics, even if it's just a bit. And instead of buying a handbrake from a reputable brand, you know what, I'm gonna do a project myself. I'm gonna wire up a couple of wires into a breadbox or to a circuit board, whatever, connect it via USB to the PC, and now I have an handbrake. If it works, it's not stupid. And this is exactly the stuff that I love to see, where sim racers want to sim race. They don't have the money or the possibility of affording a wheel, or they can't do it, or they don't care about that much, but they just want to drive a little bit, and they found solutions. I really love this setup because of how inventive it is. Speaking of inventive, the last rig of today is from Itchy, and is a mix of something that is a pre-built and it's something that is a getter rig. So it brings us this hybrid of sorts, which includes basically a frame, a next level, a GT Extreme frame, lots of syllables there. And if you look at the middle, starting at the middle, so you look at the middle and you think, oh, that's Trustmaster P310 wheel, isn't it? No, it's not. This is a G25 that has on top Sparco P310. So starting from there, you can see that he's started to customize the wheel or the feel of his rig through the wheel with something that is not available, at least off the shelf, to a G25. So, and if you look at the side, there's also really something really interesting. You see a handbrake. If you look closer to the handbrake, that handbrake is one brake pedal of a Logitech G25. So the stuff that some sim racers invent to basically try to solve a problem they have. They need a handbrake. Well, I have a spare set of maybe pedals. Let me build a handbrake. The rest of the setup is more or less off the shelf. This is a setup that is built for sim racing exclusively, it seems. You don't see any screen on front of it. You see on the side Oculus Rift sensor, so I think this is used just for VR. And you have also a pedal set from Fanatec, a really old Fanatec. I think it's either V1 or V2 pedal sets, Club Sport pedal set. So they're old, but they're reliable. You don't really need to spend a lot of money getting an extra set of pedal sets. Itchy brought us the best of two worlds. Something that is off the shelf, as the G25, as the Fanatec pedal set, as the chassis from GT Extreme or whatever it's called, and then something that is not off the shelf, as the P310 that he connected to the G25, and the handbrake from a G25 pedal. So I'm really loving what he has brought to this video today. And here you have it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If your setup didn't feature here, even though he sent me the pictures, it doesn't mean that I didn't choose it because I didn't like it. It's because this is the first episode and there's still more to come, hopefully, and maybe they'll feature on the next video. If you want to participate, just join our Discord. There is a channel called Your Rigs just leave me some pictures there, and also with the description of what your setup is like. I would really like to see them. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, press like, consider subscribing and sharing, and also hitting the notification bell, and I'll see you next time.